Hello everyone, my name is Valentina and I'm going to be talking about an app, Vocab Lab, which is an app that I created for a project for UX fundamental course. Vocab Lab is a fun way to learn a new language. Vocab Lab is basically a vocabulary app that has been defined by users as easy and practical way to learn new words. It helps the user retaining a word's pronunciation thanks to a voice recognition score system and allows users to associate every word with pictures. And now I'm going to show you how I got to the creation of Vocab Lab. I started with making a competitor analysis in which I compared 3 different apps that I found on the Google Play Store. One is NK app, the second one was Flashcards, and the third one was Flashcards Maker. All of these apps were bringing interesting elements, which could have helped me creating a vocabulary app. But I also looked at the ratings, so I tried to find a rating around a 3.5 so that I could use the users' reviews to understand what were the issues with these apps and to understand better the requirements that the users would like to have for a vocabulary app. Once I've done the competitor analysis and understood what the wishes of the users were in order to have an app that would work for them to learn new words in a new language, I did user research interviews. Therefore, I interviewed 4 people coming from different backgrounds and also with a different age range. And I asked them different questions to understand what were their experiences with learning a new language. For instance, if they ever used any app, any program, and what were their system actually to learn new words, if it was visual, if it was auditory. And I have to say those interviews were probably one of the most interesting steps of the whole process. And then I finally inquired about the pros and cons of their way to learn a new language, so that basically their feedback would have helped me creating an app that could have worked for all of them, or at least for most of them. So after the interviews, I created a user persona or a proto persona. His name is David Williams. He's a 34-year-old male living in Los Angeles, and he works as data analyst. And his hobbies are gaming, reading books, and spending time with family. His needs and goals are the following. David wants to learn a foreign language, therefore he's looking for an app that will help him learning a new vocabulary by offering practical examples with several sentences to better understand the context in which to use each word. He also wants to make sure that his pronunciation is correct at all times to avoid misunderstandings. Furthermore, David wishes to be able to retain all new words, so he needs an app that would test him on all vocabulary. He believes that adding pictures to certain words and listening to a word being repeated several times would help him with the retention. So David is a very busy person. He works as full-time data analyst for a corporation, and he often has to work long hours. So he enjoys his free time playing video games and reading scientific books. He always makes sure that he has enough time to dedicate to his family. So after introducing the user persona, I created a problem statement and a hypothesis statement. So the problem statement is that David needs to be able to learn as much vocabulary as possible in a short amount of time because his work schedule can get hectic. So David needs also audio and visual aids because those can help him with retaining new words more easily. David needs practical example because he wants to be sure to use the right words for the right context. And David needs to be challenged with new words because he wants to learn a lot of new words on a constant basis. The hypothesis, my hypothesis statement was by building an app that allows to associate words with visual and audio aids, and that also challenges the user to learn new words in different contexts, David will be able to gain and retain a lot of vocabulary during his short free time. So the following step for my project was to do the wireframing and prototyping. I started with doing task analysis, and I conducted 2 task analysis. I then did the workflow for each task analysis, and I proceeded with the paper wireframe. So I sketched a different solution, the 8 dots solution for tasks, and also login screen and the main screen and dashboard. And then I ended with the prototype itself using the Marvel app. On this slide, you can find more of the paper wireframes that I used for the project. It was a lot of fun, I have to say. I really enjoyed this step of the entire project because I found it to be very creative, and at times it wasn't easy at all because it's I would take way too long to actually find solutions. So I hope that in the future it will become easier for me to actually be a little bit faster and try not to be so perfectionist. But it was definitely a lot of fun. So the last step for this project was to conduct a usability testing. So I picked the direct tasks, which were main goals for Persona using 4 tasks. And then I created a scenario in which I evolved the direct task into 4 scenario tasks. Therefore, I picked 3 people and I interviewed them, and I basically got them to test my app, my prototype. So the first direct test was to look up for a word in the search section and listen to this translation of that word by pressing on the speaker icon. Then we proceeded with the second step, which was search for a word and practice the pronunciation for that word by pressing on the microphone icon. The third step was to go back to the home screen and create a new flashcard by pressing on the plus sign. And the last task was to record a word's pronunciation by pressing on the microphone icon after having created the flashcard, and listen to the recording by pressing on the play icon. So while I was interviewing these 3 users, these 3 people, I wrote down the notes coming from the way they reacted to how to get to each step. And of course, I also noted their feedback on how to make things better, and asked for their opinion on how to make the app better, what would work better. And so I wrote down the observations. I accounted for the severity of each observation, and therefore written the recommendations next to each single observation. So the results from the usability testing are as follows. I decided to add a speaker and a microphone buttons under the welcome back sentence. I added a microphone button next to the search bar. I added the challenge me button in the search screen under the picture section. And I displayed the icons action right underneath each single icon. And I added better ways for saying certain words by adding the translation per each word under the reported score. Also, I added the microphone icon on the score page to record a word again. I added the word previous on the flashcard icon so the user can have a better understanding of the use for that icon. I added the speaker icon so the user can listen to the pronunciation for that word. I removed the stop button from the interface, which was creating quite a bit of confusion amongst the users, like they didn't understand why it was there, and that was quite a big mistake. I added a home language on the front of the flashcard and foreign language on the back of the flashcard, and I added a score function below the recorded time of pronunciation. And here you can find the link for the improved prototype, which carries all the changes that we decided to do after the usability report. Here are the take-home points, which is basically what I've learned from this amazing experience. So I should have interviewed more people and have them testing the app, sometimes even having the same people that I interviewed in the beginning, have them testing the app to see their reaction and to see whether the suggestion that they gave me at the time for making an app better could have worked for them as well. Then it would have been also to include a wide variety of users coming from different backgrounds, which is what I did. But even having more people, interviewing more people and including them in the project, it will make the project itself more accurate and also just overall better performance. Then keep sketching and keep being creative by frequently revising prototypes. I do believe that I should have probably revised my 8 dots more. I could have already brought some new ideas and just making some small changes, and that might have made my users experience much better. Then improve the quality for competitive analysis, perhaps even going for apps that had even lower ratings. It would have helped me getting a better outlook on what people need from a vocabulary learning app. And also it would have been nice to improve I should actually improve the quality for usability reports. So perhaps even introducing new tasks, asking users to perform even more actions so that they can understand even better the app, how it works, and just to explore it even further. So perhaps if I would have put 2 more tasks on top of the 4 tasks that I already asked them to perform, that would have helped me to just make the app even better. So I would like to thank you for watching my presentation, and I hope that this can be useful for you, and I'm sure it has been very useful for myself, because I've learned really a lot from making this app, and the project was extremely exciting, and I'm actually very much looking forward to work on more projects in the future. So thank you very much.